All right, we're back again for more painting. So, last time I said that I would give the secrets for keeping your acrylic paints wet, and I guess we're going to test that. So, the secret is basically to take a mist bottle, mist them, and then cover them in saran wrap. And those are looking pretty okay to me. Can't leave them too long like that. Maybe a day or two. It's been 2 or 3 days. So yes, the last one was Monday and it's Thursday now. So however many days that is, it's how many days it's been. I'm not doing math live. I can't be doing that. Be a disaster. So today we're working on one of my weaknesses, and it's clouds in acrylic. Somebody in the last stream wanted a scene that had some rain in it. So this scene is kind of a cop-out because it's a seascape and there's not going to be any like rain droplets, but I thought I'd do kind of a thunderstorm looking scene. So that's what we're doing. And I've got an AI reference photo that I will flash before your eyes here. That's what it looks like. I'm not going to follow it too close. I'm just using it for colors and an idea. For the most part, I'm just going to be trying to paint some nice clouds. One thing about reference photos, before I get started, is that reference photo is like a super low res. It's like 300 pixels by 300 pixels or something. It's not a good, it's not really a good reference photo. I mostly just use it for colors, like I said. But an important thing about reference photos, if you do want to follow them really closely, you have to make sure the aspect ratio is right. So if it's a square, you got to paint on a square if you want to follow it exactly. Or you need to figure out a way to either crop it or warp it so that, you know, your painting is the right scale, essentially. In this case, it doesn't matter because, like I said, I'm not really going to follow the reference very closely. But if you're trying to follow the reference close, that's kind of a secret. So this is a 5x7 canvas panel. Just one of the cheap ones you can buy at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or wherever you're buying your painting supplies. So the first thing I think I'm going to do is get my shoreline and horizon in. So I'm going to wet, this is a Princeton Polytip brush. I'm going to wet it. I like, when I'm playing with acrylics, I like the brush to be wet, but not like dripping everywhere. Just wet enough so that it's kind of helping the paint flow a little bit, so it's not getting sticky as you're doing stuff with it. And we're going to find out if these paints have dried too much or if they're still going to be usable. And they're a little bit dry, but I think I can use them. I'm going to mix up that first color. I guess I'll do it right here since I started. And I'm going to be trying to get some sort of dark blues in here. So let me give myself some burnt umber out of this guy here. So I'm going to throw a little bit of brown in there to desaturate it and darken it. I'm going to throw some white in there to gray it up. Okay, this has to be pretty dark. So we're going to add more of this, more of that. Going with all the blue. And that still isn't quite as dark as I want it. So I think I need more blue. So I'm going to bust some of that out. A little bit in there. Okay. That's a lot of paint, and that's a lot of blue. That's getting towards where I want it, right about there. I think I'm going to go a little bit darker because I don't want to be trying to mix that dark of a color in the clouds. Okay, I'm going to try that on the canvas here. Yeah, that's about what I want, I think. I want to put that on pretty thick. And I think I'm going to mix up some black over here. It's pretty black. That's going to be my foreground kind of color. Try to get those blended together while it's still in there, nice and thick. And I think I'm going to throw a tiny bit of white into that mix. And we're going to make that the kind of brighter area. Get some more black in there. I need more because then I got to lay it on pretty thick. Okay. Add a little bit of shapes in there. And add maybe some, I'm going to wipe this black off of my brush here. Try to get a little more shape in here. Okay, and now I want to throw on some highlights. Oh no, disaster. I don't have a paper towel. I have to steal one from the other time I was painting, whenever that was. Hopefully it's not got oil in it. Just pinching some of my color out of my brush. I'm just going to get some white on it. I'm going to try and put some, well, I was hoping not to make it quite so thick, but that's all right. Trying to put some like glints in the water here. I can always come back and fix this once it dries a little bit, but I'm trying to get a lot of work done here fast. Because I don't want to work this painting too hard. I want this one to be kind of fresh. I'm just kind of in the mood to do a fast one today and not get caught up and bogged down. We'll see if that actually happens or not. Okay, I'm gonna get a smaller brush for this next bit. So this here is my tiny baby flat brush. It's another Princeton poly tip, and I'm just going to do a little bit of a transplant here. This is a sacred technique for people who are cheap and don't like to waste paint. And the reason I switched to a smaller brush is because you want like the glints in your water to be kind of like smaller and streakier as they go back, and also more not as broken up. We'll see how I feel about that. I think I'm going to have to throw some darks in there. Actually, maybe I'll just do that now. I'm going to get this white off of here and go back into my black, make some more of it. I'm going to throw some dark bits in there to cut that end where I wanted it. Okay, so I think I wanted to cut a little bit of that out. Okay, that's looking a little bit better. That looks pretty natural to me. Just try not to think about it too much. That's the key to freshness, I think, if there is such a thing. I just painted my bottle. If there is a key to your paintings being fresh, I think it's probably trying not to think about it too much. And also maybe go fast. But I always say I'm going to go fast when I do paintings, and then I don't. So there's that. All right, let me get this black out of here. I don't need it anymore. Now I think what I'm going to do is try and do the layers on the clouds. So I'm going to put on kind of a light blue layer first, because I see in my reference photo that's what the back kind of looks like. You know, now that I've got this brush that's like kind of got some paint on it, I can maybe sketch in where I sort of want stuff to be. So I think I'm going to have one cloud kind of going on over here. He's going to go kind of like that. Then he's going to be connected to like a big old honker cloud over here. He's going to look something like that. And then there's going to be a cloud up in here, kind of doing cloud-like things. He's going to come over doing something like that. That's kind of an interesting shape, if you ask me. And maybe a little bit in there, and yeah, that. Well, let me try to get this guy a little lower. Maybe there's a kind of a lower one going on down in here. And yeah, that works. So now I'm gonna wash my brush off now, because I want a pretty clean color. I think just some blue and white will probably do it. I'm gonna go easy on the white at first, but I know I'm gonna need a lot of white. I'm probably gonna have to desaturate the blue a little bit too. I go rhyming again, blue and two. I promise I don't do that in my day-to-day life. It's only when I do these videos when I can't stop myself from saying dumb things. Okay, I guess I'm gonna use brown to desaturate it again. Because it's too blue. And I need a lot more white. So now I might have goofed because now I think it's not quite blue enough. It's a little bit like purple. Yeah, I think that's in my imagination. We're gonna go with it. And I'm gonna leave some white of the canvas showing through initially. And we're gonna see if that sticks or not. I think it needs more white. I think it does. We're going with lots of white. I'm making it too light, and then I can darken it if I feel like it. Now it's really not very blue. Maybe a little more blue in there. Okay, we're gonna go with this, and we're gonna go. I'm gonna do something like this. And we're gonna try and get some blending to go on, though I don't know that it will. I like that color way better than the one I just mixed. It's a much better blue. I think you're probably beginning to see why acrylic clouds are my nemesis here. Just fair warning, this painting might be bad. I said I was working on some. I believe that's fair warning. I said they were going to be bad. You can't be mad if they're bad. So now I'm just kind of darkening the color up a little bit as I go, and I'm going to try to add the darker bits in. And then we're going to hope that some clouds appear at some point in here. Okay, I'm happy with that. We're going to say that's like this cloud. Trying to keep it pretty loose. And I'm painting my table. Because it never hurts to paint your table accidentally every once in a while. Unless it's your kitchen table, then I would recommend not doing that. I'm gonna roll a cloud over in there. Maybe a guy up in here. All right, now I think we need to go darker, but I'm not gonna go darker all the way. I'm not gonna make this whole pile darker, just a little bit of it. Because I wanted a kind of a reference for where I was. Okay, that's not blue enough. Get some more blue in there. It's pretty gray. The clouds can be gray, so we're gonna I want to try it because we're trying to go fast and not be super precise. That's pretty dark. So maybe that'll be my darker bits in here. Okay, we're getting some more of that dark here on the bottom of this guy. It's kind of looking like clouds already, which is good. You want it to look like clouds if you're painting them. If I showed this to a person with some like crazy cataracts, they might think it was clouds, maybe. We're not done yet. Still got time. The other benefit to painting kind of fast is if you paint something that you really like, but it's just not quite there yet, you can spend that time that you would have spent doing something else, not doing something else. Here in my palette again. Apologize for that. It's obnoxious like that. Okay. This is even darker, so I'm throwing some of that in there. Just gonna touch some of that in there. Roll some of that in there. Okay. Now I need to go lighter again. Add some of those in between kind of colors. And I'm kind of thinking that I'm going to block stuff in and then I'm going to try to get some blending going on. That's why I'm putting everything on so thick. Usually I wouldn't do that. But I'm kind of hoping that I can get some blending to go on because clouds tend to look better when you blend them a little bit, I think. Okay, I think so there's some of this color that goes on down in here. Okay, let's get some of that in there. I'm trying to get the lights and the darks in, and then I'm going to try to define some edges with some highlights. And we'll try to carve some clouds out of there. Okay, let's get some of that in there. And we'll see what we've got once the canvas is covered. See what we've got to work with. It's looking pretty rough right now. Definitely not, I wouldn't leave it this way. Okay, let's get some blending to happen on the bottom. So I'm going to get some white in my brush. It's not really white, but that's okay because I don't really want it to be 100% white. I'm going to do some of this. Trying not to touch my water there at the bottom. Kind of making some circular motions. I'm going to get some clean white in there. Okay. I'm going to close that in. Okay. That's looking different. Let me get some darker bits going on in there. So we've got some kind of intermingling clouds going on. So I think my light areas aren't light enough, which that's okay, because I can carve some of that in. That'll make my life not too difficult. Let's get some more white on my brush. I'm going to try and add some light bits in, and maybe it'll help me make some cloud shapes too. It's going to pick up some of that blue and gray and help me, I think. Get some light bits going on in here. Just trying to lighten this up a little bit and carve a little cloud over there. I might have put myself in a corner because I kind of want to wait for it to dry a little bit before I touch too much else. And I'm just kind of playing, so I'm going to do something a little bit scary. Since this is an acrylic painting, I'm not scared to play with it because I can just paint over it when it's dried a little bit. I'm going to take a clean paper towel and I'm going to try and like dab some clouds in there. And I'm just going to see what happens because I never tried it and I want to see. And I'm brave doing things live. That doesn't do anything because it's sticky. Well, it's kind of creating some interesting texture. Maybe I'll do that. I'll go with that. Create some kind of neat textures in there. See how it's sort of like created some paper towel texture? I don't mind that. And I can add some light bits in there to carve the clouds in. I like that texture. I definitely messed up and blended a lot of stuff together doing that. So I'm going to have to add some contrast again. That's okay. I think I'm going to switch to my smaller brush so I can put some heavier paint in. Getting paint all over my brush here because my hands are covered. Okay, I'm going back to this flat brush here. And I could use a rigger brush, but I don't think I'm going to do that because I want less control because this is supposed to be sort of impressionistic. Let me get a little bit of blue in there. That's way too much blue. Trying to add some lights in here. Thinking my plan now is just kind of push it and pull it lights and darks until some clouds happen. We'll see if that works. Told you clouds are my bane, so we're just trying stuff. I'm gonna wet my brush a little bit and get this paint to flow a little easier. Okay. And I want it to be lighter up here, just in general. Try to negative paint some cloud shapes in there. Okay. I think I want even more contrast in there. I think I want the lights to be even lighter. I gotta be careful though, because I plan to put some lightning in here at some point. That's gonna be just like straight white, which means I don't want. Let me blend some of that. I'm making a mess now. But I put too much white in there, so it had to get blended. Okay, so we're gonna have to redo everything up there. That's okay. Let's put some more of this dark color up there. Try to make some clouds again. Remember when I was talking about freshness earlier? That was funny. I was talking about freshness, and now I'm just like, well, we're gonna touch it until it looks good, which is the opposite of freshness. Okay. Yeah, so now I'm going to try and draw some clouds into there. So I want one kind of in here. I think we want one kind of in here. I said this one was going to be quick. Let's get a little more dark in here. I think what makes clouds hard for me is the contrast is not really, there's not that much contrast in the cloud. Like it's kind of, there's a lot of gradients going on, and really in the clouds that I like to paint, it's not like you can just, it's not like a tree trunk where there's the background and then there's the tree. The clouds are kind of like, they're all sort of gradients of the same color and just sort of a poofy shape. That's tricky for me. I don't know why. I've painted good clouds before, I promise. I don't know if I'd count these among them. Trying to think of what I want to do next. I think I need to go lighter, despite my better judgment. Let me get some of this dark color out of my brush here. I kind of want like to outline the clouds in this light. I'm trying to like draw some lights on the clouds and then blend it down a little bit. So I'm going to try to do like, okay, there's a cloud right there, say. And then I just kind of like blend that white down into them with my finger. I think that was a failure. Oh, I don't know, maybe it's a cloud. I feel like I didn't get that one fast enough. It's dry already. Clouds are hard, man. We're working at it. That's what we're doing. Trying things. I think the next thing I want to try is trying to add some in here. See, that's a cloud shape, and then I'm gonna just blend him. Just blend him. I don't know, are clouds appearing? Maybe. Let's get some more. We need some contrast. That's what we need, contrast. We need shapes in there. Shapes that look like cloud. I gotta be fast so I can blend them. Oh, I think I overdone it. Okay. Let me try to do some of that on the other side as well here. Just gonna lighten this area up so I can add some contrast in there later. Okay. All right, let's try to get some darker clouds in there. I'm gonna switch to a dark color. I'm gonna try to paint this cloud with a hard outline. And there, see, you just don't have enough contrast to poke out. Just don't have it. Now he's too. I think I just made a mess. That's what I done. I made a mess. Trying to blend him out. Okay, let's try this. So where I put those dark, or those kind of bright bits, I'm gonna just put a little bit of dark under them. To help them show. Try to blend the bottom of this a little bit. Okay. All right, so this right here looks like a cloud to me. And this up here looks like a cloud to me. This one over here, I don't know, he doesn't look that much like a cloud to me. So maybe we need to get him some highlight. I need another brush. We're going with this guy because he's the only other small brush I have. This is going to be my light brush from now on. Because I'm tired of washing. So I'm just going to give this guy a little bit of an outline here. I'm just going to touch him around and then I'm going to blend him down. Just trying to create some contrast, that's all. Maybe I just need to add like an outline around him and then blend that up. Okay, that sort of worked. Try to get a cloud going on in there. Dry brushing clouds is hard, man. Okay, what else do I want to do? I think more lights in here to get some more cloud shapes. So let's try to break that one off there. A cloud, maybe. How's that? Okay. Not too bad. Let's get a little more blue in there. Okay, let's throw another one of those in there. That cloud's like triangular. That's no good. Okay. Let's try adding some more in here. It's a little bit spotty. Just trying to get my brush a little bit wetter so my paint comes off a little bit easier. Yeah, but I kind of want to dry brush too. I don't know, we'll try it both ways. These are looking kind of like clouds now. I think whatever I'm doing is making a difference. Uh, okay. I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't. I feel like it's not wispy enough. It's not got the, it doesn't have that wisp to it, you know? I just had an idea though. What if I put the lightning on, because I'm going to put some lightning in the clouds. What if I put it on at the end with a palette knife? That could be fun. That could be fun. Maybe we'll try that. We're not quite ready for that yet. Still got more work to do on making this look like a cloud. Is this dry yet? Yeah, let's try. Let's work on the bottom for just a minute. I'm gonna wait for everything in the top to dry good before I touch it. And I need to give it a minute to sink in. Because I don't know. I'm having one of those things where I can't tell if it's looks okay or not. Because to me, it looks really like nothing. But when I'm looking at it I've got a second monitor over that way. I'm looking at it. And on my second monitor, it's like teeny tiny on the monitor because I've got the chat up and all that nonsense and my music and everything. And so it's tiny. And on the tiny screen, it looks okay. And tiny screen is some kind of the equivalent of looking at it from 6 feet away, which is kind of how you're supposed to look at paintings. And it looks okay. Doesn't look like amazing, but it looks okay. We're going to do something I might regret. I think we're just gonna go with it. And I'm gonna put the lightning on with a palette knife. We're gonna see what it looks like. Okay, let's bust her out. The question is which palette knife to use. I guess I'm going to use this palette knife. I've got two different shapes. This one's just kind of long. I'm thinking I'm going to use like this short edge here. So not this big edge, the short edge. And kind of make it really segmented. We're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. Because we're just trying things with this one. And that is in no way a cope for making a bad painting. Okay, I think I'm gonna start here. It's already looking questionable. I need to adjust my paint on this knife. Palette knife skills are not up to par. Okay, let's readjust myself here. I'm not a palette knife painting expert. I tend not to do it because I really like the way palette knife paintings look. They're really textured, especially when people like only use the palette knife. I think they look really neat. But the thing about them, and the reason I don't ever practice, is because it just uses a lot of paint. I mean, to get a palette knife, I mean, you're using a lot more paint than if you were to just try to like use a brush. All right, there's lightning bolt number 1. Give him a name if you like, Fred or something. That way we can distinguish him from lightning bolt number 2. He's coming in. It's going to be a short one. Ain't going to be real long. Just trying to get some like texture going on in there. Okay, that's lightning bolt number 2, Sally, if you like. I'm thinking we're gonna go up there and then over here. And then we're gonna go. I think we're just gonna take this guy. This guy's going for a ride over here. He's going like that away. I'll give him a fork. So the thing about the palette knife is if you want to make lines like this, you got to kind of like scrape it. You got to keep the palette knife, I guess, what would it be, perpendicular to your palette, and then you got to get like a thin ridge. You got to kind of just like scrape across, but you want the paint to be kind of flat, so you kind of lay the paint out sort of flat like that, and then come in sideways, and that'll give you kind of a nice even roll. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but it'll help you from getting those like accidental globs if you do it that way. Like I said, I'm not the palette knife painting expert, so I don't know if my advice is worth much on that one. Take it with a grain of salt. Okay, we're gonna go even harder on this guy. I think we're gonna cross the streams here. We're gonna do the unthinkable. My paint is drying. I need more white paint. think we're gonna get this guy coming back behind this cloud over here. Okay, that's looking like thunder. Or lightning, I'm sorry. I guess thunder is the noise, isn't it? And I guess we gotta come up here. Well, it seems like lightning's gotta come from kind of a lighter area, so I'm making a lighter area up there with my finger. Looks sort of unnatural though now, doesn't it? Another one of them transplants. Oh, and I dripped on my painting. I'll never know it. Oh, that's really white. Okay, that's better. Okay, back to business. Apologize if that's making a horrible noise. Wouldn't surprise me if it was. All right, that there is lightning. Okay, now I want some lightning striking the water or something. So we're gonna do that the same way. This lightning is coming. I think it's gotta go pretty straight, right? This lightning's taking the short path. I'm having trouble making this one because I ain't got the dexterity. Trying to like almost curve him. You know how lightning kind of like curves a little bit at the bottom? It don't hit straight down. It kind of hits a little funky. Okay, this looks a little bit too singular, so we're going to give him a little bit of a spiderwebby looking shape. I don't really like the way that looks there. How about that? That lightning's a little bit too... Oh, that's gotta go. That was no good. That's going to become a cloud. Alright. We can fix... I feel like this just needs to like curve down a little bit and then it'll look a little more natural. Just adding some more defined highlights into that water there. So it looks more like something, you know? Okay, that's a painting. A good painting? I don't know. It is a painting. And that's all I promised. I said, when I sat down, I said we were painting. I didn't say we were painting a masterpiece. I didn't say we were painting. I said we were painting. And we done that. That much been done. I'm gonna do some finger painting here. I feel like the bottom of that cloud needs to be like lit up a little bit because of the lightning. I'm trying to like dry finger some on there. Just a little bit because I don't want to use a brush. I guess I'm gonna use a brush anyway though. Just adding stuff as I see it, you know. Whoa. There's some water at it. I don't know. I'm not sure what else to do with this guy. I'm not the, still not the cloud painting expert that I want to be. But we're closer. Learning all the time. I've learned with this painting, I think, and maybe I'll unlearn it on a future painting, but I think adding a little like white outline to the top of the clouds, I think that adds a lot. And if you can blend it down, it adds even more. And then I think blending the bottom of the clouds is helpful. I think the bottom of the clouds need to be sort of blended more. So those are my takeaways from this. Oh. Oh. Maybe those are not perfect takeaways, but I definitely have improved my clouds a little bit. At least I'm working on a process now, and before I had no idea and I was just trying things. I need to stop touching things now before I break stuff. All right. I think I should stop. I think that would be a good plan. I say that, and here I am not stopping again. Actually, I need to clean my palette knife before it becomes permanently... Oh dear. It's already become permanently white. Gotta be careful with acrylic on your palette knife. It may become permanently fused. Hopefully some water will soften that up. Oh yeah, no problemo. Yeah, PSA, wash your brushes when you got acrylic on them. I think we were pretty successful. I covered a thing I forgot that I said I was going to cover, which was the cover your acrylic paints in saran wrap if you're going to be away for a little while. I think that's a valuable tip for acrylic people that like to do multiple sessions but don't like to waste paint. I'm one of those people that doesn't like to waste paint because it is expensive. Paint is expensive. Real expensive. All right. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I can't keep playing with this thing, otherwise I'm going to turn it into something terrible. All right, stop touching. I have to force myself vocally. You know, one other thing. You know, let's try. I'm gonna try one more thing with the lightning. Bust out this this here little liner brush, and I'm gonna try to add some gray bits in there. So a little bit of this gray here into my white. All of my gray is dry. All right, fine. I'll make more. Just a little bit of blue and white. I'm going to try to get this really sharp. And I'm going to try and add Just some like kind of wispy lightning details to make the lightning just a little bit more realistic. Not a lot realistic. I can't do realistic. I think. Okay, what else? Okay, that's it. That's it for real this time. Now you know what else we gotta do? No, I'm just kidding. We're done. We're gonna call that a painting. So he's taped it down here. Let me show you the back of this, by the way. This is a Master's Touch canvas panel, 5x7. You can get those at Hobby Lobby if you didn't know. That's what we got. It's definitely not perfect. There's a lot of things I don't really love about it. The main one being the sky is kind of boring. I'm sorry, the sea is kind of boring. I mean, obviously the clouds are supposed to be the feature of this one, so that way I could force myself to paint nice clouds, but the water could probably use something. The other thing is this lightning bolt looks kind of weird, kind of funky. I think the lightning looks okay up here. And I think there's some okay clouds in there. Like, I don't mind this one here. And some of the stuff over here looks okay. I think where the clouds sort of fall apart is like up here and kind of back here. This doesn't really look very cloud-like. That's work in progress. The next one will be better. But anyway, that's what I got for you today. I'm going to do one more of a... I'll show you what I do with the acrylic paints. And these are probably not going to last more than a day. But I'm going to try to use them maybe tomorrow or something like that, so I'm not wasting paint. So I'll give them a spray. And then cover them up. And you got to kind of make sure there's no air in there, because the air is what's drying them out. So you're just trying to keep air out of there. And be careful how long you do this. I know they've got like the stay wet palettes and stuff like that. I don't like to use them because they get mildewy. And this will too if you leave it for a long time, because it's just water that you put saran wrap over and left it. So eventually it'll get nasty. So, but that's a good temporary solution. And if your paints are drying on your palette constantly, I've seen people just like reach their brush. They don't have quite so much plastic wrap. They just kind of reach their brush under the saran wrap and then grab color that way. That's a good way to do it too. I've done that before. But anyway, that's for real. That's all I got. So I'm gonna close it out there.